Hello, Kim Kiyosaki here. Welcome to another segment of Keys to the Cash Flow Game. And I am, of course, the queen of cash flow, and very proud to be such. So when I understood the whole concept of cash flow and started in the late 80s or so, that became my drive and my focus. And that is why I became the queen of cash flow, hence the name CASHFLOW Board Game. So what I want to talk to you today about is a very, very key concept and something that is oftentimes overlooked in the game or not given the importance that it really carries. And that is the role of the auditor. If you look on the financial statement, you see auditor. And the auditor is so important because one of the keys in life, as in the game cash flow, is you've got to know your numbers. You've got to know where you are financially. So we brought the auditor in because in real life, even when Robert and I were just starting out and really had nothing, we still had Betty the bookkeeper. And Betty the bookkeeper kept us on track to show us where we were every month financially. And when you have more money going out than coming in, it's not a pleasant experience. But we had to know, because if you don't know where you are today, there's no way you can get to where you are tomorrow. So the role of the auditor has changed slightly over all these years. When we came out with the cash flow game originally in 1995, we had the auditor there at every single move of your financial statement. So every time you made a change to your financial statement, your auditor had to okay the numbers, review the numbers, make sure they were correct. We've since changed it slightly because we found out that just took a little too much time with all the players. And so now this is the key. There's 4 times actually, when your auditor is priceless. So when you're starting the game and you're adding all your numbers from your profession card onto your financial statement, your auditor must look at your numbers and make sure they're accurate, because you've got to start with accurate numbers. If you don't have accurate numbers to start with, then the rest of the game is going to be very difficult. Okay, number 1. The second time the auditor is essential is when you're moving out of the rat race and onto the fast track. That is when your passive income from your investments are greater than your monthly living expenses. So at that point, you want the auditor to check your numbers, make sure that that calculation is correct. So the other time where you want your auditor by your side is when you win the game. So let's say you've accumulated that $50,000 in cash flow from your fast track businesses. You want to make sure that that auditor looks over your numbers and says, yes, it's correct, you win. Now there's one other time, or several times, which is really important. At any time during the cash flow game, if you have a question about your numbers, if you've just bought a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, or you bought an apartment building, and you're not quite sure if you've put the numbers in correctly, the cash flow and the mortgage, all of that, if you have questions, absolutely turn to your auditor and say, hey, would you please check my numbers? Again, in real life, it's so important that you know where you are financially. Unfortunately, so many people are going through life. I just had a conversation with a young woman yesterday. She goes, I don't know what my monthly expenses are. I'm like, well, you better find out. So we have a friend of ours. His name is John McGregor. He's a financial advisor. More than really a financial advisor, because he advises people along the cash flow philosophy. And he says time and time again, a new client will come in and they'll literally have shoe boxes and bags of receipts. And when he sits down with them, they have no idea how much money they've got coming in and how much money they've got going out. Not a clue. And these are people in their 50s and 60s. They've lived their whole life like this, and they wonder why they're not getting ahead. So the key of an auditor, in real life, you might call it a bookkeeper, CPA, somebody that is knowledgeable and will keep you on track and will hold you accountable to your numbers, is crucial. And that's why the role of auditor in the cash flow game is so very important. One space on the rat race that ties right into your auditor is called Payday. And Payday is made up of your salary plus all your passive income. So if you're not calculating your numbers correctly, you may be getting less payday And if you're getting more payday, then that's not so fair for the other players. So that's why it's so important that you have the auditor check your numbers periodically to make sure that those numbers are correct so that you're getting the correct amount that you want. So let's talk about payday in real life. First of all, there's your salary if you're an employee. And if you're an employee today, likely your salary is automatically put into your bank account. But let's talk about your passive income. You've got rental properties where you have tenants paying your rent. Sometimes you got to go knock on that door to get your rent. Or if you have a client, if you're an entrepreneur and you have a client that you have to invoice, because if you don't invoice them, they're not going to pay you. So one thing we've seen, since people have to ask for their payday money, is that people get more focused. They get more focused on when they pass payday, but they also get more focused on making sure that their numbers are correct because they want as much payday, salary plus passive income as possible. So again, that's why the two go together. You want your auditor to make sure that your numbers are accurate and correct. If you have a question, ask for help. That's part of the process of the cash flow game. We cooperate, we work together, we help each other understand the whole game of money and investing. And then when it comes to your payday, hey, in real life, the goal is to no longer need that salary because that passive income is more than paying for your monthly expenses. And once that happens, you're financially free and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So thank you to all the CASHFLOW Club leaders and all the CASHFLOW Club members. We're so thrilled that you're getting together on a regular basis to play the CASHFLOW game, to support one another, to educate one another about money, about investing, about being financially free. Thank you. If you like these videos, please click on the subscribe button or hit the notification bell so you'll have access to more videos of Keys to the Cashflow Game. And start playing Cashflow in real life.